At times, I'd let you know, I have felt depressed. Now, you might think that's normal with all of the other reasons that could come out, but not for the reason you might think actually. It's because I haven't been able to do those habits that I used to do consistently. This is one of the worst feelings when that 10 minutes of meditation you used to do every single day feels practically impossible to do because you haven't trained it, because you haven't done it in a while. And that depression, I think, is the greatest depression because in the self improvement journey, because it can vary, like the time it stays can vary depending on how quickly you realize this. Thankfully, I realized it in just under a month, and it didn't take away much of my life. It didn't take away much of what I thought it would take to get back into the habit. Whatever may be the reason, whenever we quote unquote fall off, we feel unease, we feel a sense of regression in terms of the progress we made. Like we regressed because we've reached to a former state, a previously like developed state, and that really brings us down. So I'm going to take the example of meditation because that's where I've struggled the most. That 10 minutes, that 10 minutes you could do easily, you can barely do 3 now. That's kind of heartbreaking to think, but why? What really is the reason behind it? It's your ego, my friend. I'm not here to bullshit anyone. I'm not here to look down on anyone. I'm here to help you as a brother. That it is your ego that you're letting take over you. It is your ego that in the end is destroying you. Ego simply is the enemy in this case, because since we've done those 10 minutes of meditation before, we've built our ego to that 10 minutes of meditation, and now when we fall off for a week or two, whatever may be the reason, we try and go back to the 10 because of our ego, because our ego keeps on telling us we used to do this, so let's go back to it. And we're constantly motivated because of the humiliation that it brings in ourselves, constantly motivated to do better, but we can't. Like, it's really, really hard. So this is how you fix it. Think about a D trainee. A D trainee, when he stops training, he will lose muscle. That's a given. Obviously, even we lose muscle like 2 or 3 weeks after not working out. So a D trainee, what he would do to get back into it, wouldn't he take it slow? Wouldn't he drop his ego, go back to the 7.5s and curl them first, rather than going to the 15s and curling them, which he used to do like 6-8 months ago? Think about it. You have lost the muscle, and therefore you can't even pick that up, the 15s. They're too hard to curl. You've lost the muscle. So what you need to do, you need to regain that muscle. You need to drop the ego and you need to retrain that muscle so that it becomes as big as it loses the ability to do that skill for 10 minutes because we haven't trained it, right? So think about losing the muscle as losing the time, and dropping the ego and starting from the bottom means starting from 3 minutes, 2 minutes, maybe even 1, and then slowly pushing yourself up until you reach that area, and then you can also push forward. What we need to realize here is consistency is the key. Ego is the enemy. Ooh, shit, that rhymed. But you need to realize that when we do realize ego is the enemy and we drop our ego, whenever we should always have a dropped ego. Like, don't let your ego allow you to boast shit. Don't do that. That's terrible. But when we do drop our ego, we'll realize where we need to start from, how we need to start, and what we need to start with. We'll realize everything when we drop our ego. Just try and redo those habits from the bottom, and you'll get to the top quicker, and then you'll get even further. You'll get even further. You'll get even further. And I think you can also have a habit tracker with you. And habit tracker can help keep you motivated to do the habits. And also you can keep a journal, and whenever you actually get back into those habits, you can write down how you did so. And the next time you fall off, you can just use that. Remember why you even started in the first place. Remember why you started the habits in the first place. Remember how you started the habits in the first place. That gets you into the rhythm. That gets you into the consistency that you want to. This works with every habit. And this law of rebuilding, I like to call it. It comes naturally. Remember why you started.